Hello and welcome to your mat. My name is Stacey. Today I will be guiding you through a gentle yoga practice. For today's class, you'll want to have with you a yoga strap as an option, as well as 2 yoga blocks if you have them. Go ahead and get what you need, and I will meet you on your back in Shavasana. Take a few moments to settle here on your back. Sending the arms and legs wide away from your body and allowing them to settle into the floor. Become aware of the breath as it moves in and out through your body, allowing it to fill up the belly with each breath in. And welcome some softness with each breath out. Notice where it is that you are holding on to tension. Where are you gripping, flexing, clenching? Offer some softness to those areas as you welcome the body into stillness. We'll start to awaken the body slowly by wiggling fingers and toes. Find some gentle rotations through your wrists and ankles in both directions. Slide your feet together at the bottom of the mat and draw the knees in towards your belly, interlacing fingers, hugging them in close. Every breath in, lengthen through your low back. Every breath out, maybe you hug your knees in a little bit closer towards you. Finding some subtle movement with breath. Take a gentle rock of the knees from side to side. Lower the sole of your left foot onto the mat. Keep the right leg drawn in. Reach for your strap. We're going to loop the strap over the right foot, sending it up towards the sky. We're looking for a little bit of a stretch at the back of the right leg. You can have as much or as little bend in the knee as you need, as long as you're feeling that stretch. Notice if the pinky toe edge of the right foot is a little bit closer to the ceiling than the big toe mound. Maybe using the strap to draw that pinky toe towards you a little bit more, evening out the foot. Left leg can stay bent, or you can extend it long to the bottom of your mat. Just take a few breaths in stillness. Every breath in lengthens through the body, the right hip grows heavy. Every breath out, maybe you draw the toes a little bit closer to the room behind you. Stay heavy through the left hip. You can even use your left hand to encourage it down into the floor. Start to open your right leg up towards the right side of the room. the option here to lift the right leg up, slide a block in close towards the right hip. Keep it supporting the right hip as you open the right leg to the right side. You want to make sure that block stays nice and close to the hip, rather than being up the thigh. This helps to create space in the front of the pelvis, the front of the hip, rather than forcing the hip down into its joint. If you have a cork block and you find the edges a little too sharp, you can always place a hand towel over top for some added cushion. You notice that the left hip has started to lift up off of the ground. Can you bend it back down? The body has funny ways of fooling us into thinking we're deeper in the stretch than we are. Oftentimes we start to shift the weight over onto the right hip, lifting the left, to make it seem like the right leg is closer to the floor. Find your way back through center. Take the strap into the left hand, release your right arm at your side. We're going to move into a twist. First, take a big breath in to lengthen through your spine. As you exhale, start to send the right leg all the way over to the left side of the room. You can slide the left hip beneath the right, stacking the right hip on top of the left. This is a little too much. You can always bend at the right knee and release the strap completely. You can use the strap to apply gentle tension, deepening the stretch, but never being forceful. You have the option here to start to bend the left knee, drawing the left heel in towards the bum. If you slide your right hand behind you, taking hold of the left foot, hug it in a little bit closer towards you. Either variation, press firmly through the outer left thigh bone into the floor. As you draw the right thigh bone, the right hip up towards the sky ever so slightly. Gaze can be at the ceiling or over to the right. Gaze comes back through center. Release the left leg if it's drawn in. Send your right leg back through center as well. Pausing for another breath here in the center. Maybe finding a little more depth each time we come. Bend the left knee, bring the sole of the left foot onto the floor. With the right leg extended, turn the toes to the right, start to bend the right knee, releasing the strap and bringing the pinky toe edge of the right foot onto the left thigh, creating a figure 4 shape with your left. Start to send the right knee away from the shoulder without allowing the left hip to creep up towards the shoulders. If you're feeling a stretch in the outer right hip or glute, you're welcome to stay as you are. Or you can draw your left knee in towards you, take hold of the back of the left thigh. And draw the left knee in towards you as the right knee reaches away. Stay long through your low back. Relax your face. Maybe playing with the weight on the left and right hips. See where you feel the stretch most. Pause in stillness when you find that stretch. Lower the left foot to the mat. Let the right foot join it. A gentle sway of the legs from side to side. Left knee hugs in towards you. Take the strap over the left foot, send it up towards the sky. With the left toes drawn towards you, really reach the left heel up towards the ceiling. And press the left hip firmly into your mat. Extend your right leg long. The right leg is extended long. Make sure the toes stay through center. You're not falling out to the side. Just creating space at the back of your left thigh, with as much or as little bend as you like in the knee. You have the option of using the block up against the left hip if you did so on the other side and enjoyed it. Either way, we're going to start to open the left leg up towards the left side of the room. Option to place your right hand on the right hip, encouraging it down towards the floor, so that you don't sink too much weight into the left hip. One more big breath here. Find your way back through center. From the center, we're going to find our way into a twist. Start to turn the right toes over to the right side. Lift the left hip off of the floor and send the left leg over to the right. The left hip stacks on top of the right hip. You can extend your left arm long. Option here to bend through the right knee. Draw it in towards you. You can reach back with the left hand if it's accessible. Hug the right foot in a little bit closer to you. Gaze at the ceiling or over to the left. Pressing firmly through the outer right thigh as you draw the left hip towards the ceiling. It doesn't have to be a visible movement. It's just the activation on the muscles. Release the right leg long if it's drawn in. Find your way back up through center. Just land for a breath. Maybe you're able to find a little more depth, returning to the same posture. Start to bend the left knee. Release your strap. Bringing the pinky toe edge of the left foot onto your right thigh. The sole of your right foot on the floor for your reclined pigeon or thread the needle pose. Pressing the pinky toe edge firmly into the right leg as you direct the left knee away from you. Stay as you are, or you can draw the right leg in towards you, taking hold of the back of the right thigh. Always the option to use the strap between your hands to add length to your arms. Shifting the weight from the left hip to the right, see where you feel the stretch most. Each breath in, you lengthen through the low back. Each breath out, without lifting the tailbone, you draw the right thigh in a little bit closer towards you. Lower your right foot onto the mat. Release the left to join it. Just a few little sways of the knees from side to side. Right arm comes up overhead, roll over onto your right side. You can bring your right side of your head to rest on your arm. Left palm can rest on the floor or on your body. Just taking a few breaths here, maybe drawing your knees in towards you, rounding through your back. When you feel ready in your own time, find your way up to a tabletop position. Your shoulders are over your wrists, hips are over the knees. We'll move through cat and cow. Take a big breath in, lift your tailbone, belly drops, pull your heart forward, lift it up. On an exhale, scoop your tailbone beneath you, rounding through your back body, chin to chest, gaze to the belly. Big breath in, cow back, lifted tailbone, belly drops, pull the heart forward and up. Exhale for cat, rounded spine, gaze to the belly. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale. Exhale. 3 more, follow your own rhythm of breath. neutral spine. And let your big toes come to touch, the knees go wide apart. Bend your hips back towards the heels for a child's pose. Slowly lowering your forehead down towards the mat as the fingertips slide away. Your head can come to rest on your floor or on a block. The arms be active by pressing firmly through all 10 fingers. Sliding the shoulders back into their joints rather than allowing them to creep up towards your ears. Creating as much length as you can from the top of your head to the tip of the tailbone. With every breath in, and as you breathe out, the hips grow heavy and sink deeper into the heels. They do not have to touch. Rise back up through tabletop. Shoulders over the wrist. Walk the hips back a couple of inches and lower the hips in line with the shoulders and knees. Modified plank. Take a big breath in to lengthen. The belly drawn in, the lower ribs stay tucked in. On the exhale, start to bend your elbows, slowly lower down onto your belly. Palms are on the floor beneath the shoulders. Keep the elbows drawn in and reaching back towards the heels. Stay open through your chest. Press down to the tops of your feet, all 10 toenails. As you inhale, lengthen and lift. Collarbones, 1 or 2 ribs comes off of the floor. Exhale to lower. Inhale, lengthen and lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale, lengthen and lift. Collarbones, a few more ribs comes up off the mat each time. Exhale to lower. Inhale, lengthen and lift to hold this baby cobra pose. Those elbows squeezed in towards the ribs and reaching for your heels. Pressing down through the tops of your feet, all 10 toenails pressing into the floor. So much so that the legs become active and the knees and thighs start to lift. You're holding the pose, but not your breath, with little to no weight in the hands. One more big breath in. As you exhale, let it go. And lower down onto the mat. Bring the forearms out in front of you. Let your forehead come to rest upon them. Big toes come to touch. Heels go wide apart. Take a little mini front lying shavasana. Draw your heels back together. Turn the left toes to face the left side of the room. Start to bend your left knee, slide it over towards the left side. The inner arch of the left foot is on the floor, left toes pointing to the left. The left knee is bent roughly in line with your hip as the inseam of the left pant leg presses down towards the floor. Squaring up through your hips, see if the left hip can grow heavy. Bring your hands back into that cobra position, palms on the floor, elbows point back. Walking the hands a little bit wider this time though to the edges of the mat. Elbows can now point up towards the sky a little bit. Being really mindful of any low back sensitivity. If you're experiencing that, please come out. Press down through the palms of your hands. Start to lift the collarbones, 1 or 2 ribs up off the mat. Exhale to lower. Keep the right big toe pointing to the room behind you. Make sure it's straight foot, not coming into a kidney bean shape, pointing to the side. Inhale, lengthen and lift. Keep pressing through the right foot. Exhale to lower. Inhale, lengthen and lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lengthen and lift. Exhale to lower. Left arm comes beneath your forehead for a pillow. Option here to draw the right heel in towards your bum. Reaching back with the right hand, take hold of the right foot, or you can always use your strap to add length to your arm. We're still in that frog position with the left leg, but the right heel draws in, just offering a bit of a stretch to the front of the right thigh. Pressing the right knee down towards the mat at the same time, just visualizing the area of the front of your pelvis. If you were wearing blue jeans and you had a zipper on your pants, the entire zipper from base to button is pressing into the floor without lifting your knee. Keep breathing. Release your right foot. The left leg will join it. Stack your arms in front of you and bring the forehead to rest. As the big toes come to touch, the heels fall wide apart. Draw your heels together. Right toes point to the right side of the room. Start to bend the right knee, sliding the right knee all the way over to the right. Bringing the inseam of the right pant leg to the floor. A deep flex in your right ankle draws the right toes to your shin. Keep pressing the right hip towards the floor. It does not have to touch. Return your hands to that cobra position with the palms beneath the shoulders to start. Elbows bent. Walk the hands a little bit wider to the edges of your mat. The gaze stays down, stay long to the back of the neck, pressing firmly through the hands. Inhale, lengthen and lift. Collarbones and a couple of ribs up off the mat. Keep your right hip reaching for the floor. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lengthen and lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale, lengthen and lift. Exhale, lower. 2 more just like that. Lowering down once you've finished yours. Bringing the right arm beneath the forehead. The right leg still in your half frog position. Option to bend the left knee, draw it in towards the left glute. Maybe reaching back with your left hand or your strap to take hold of the left foot. Keep pressing your imaginary zipper down towards the floor without letting the left knee start to lift up. Release the left foot if it's drawn in. Let the right foot slide back to meet it. Bring your hands beneath the shoulders. Press through the palms of your hands. Lift up through tabletop. Send your hips back towards the heels for child's pose. Option to keep the knees a little more narrow this time, with as much space as you need to support your belly. Fingertips can stay reaching to the front of the mat, or you can start to send the fingers back towards the toes. Let the palms face up as you relax through the shoulders, allowing them to soften towards the mat. Breathe space into the low back, pelvis, the hips. If the arms are back behind you, send your breath between the shoulder blades into the upper back. Hands come out in front of you once again. Press the palms, find your way up to tabletop. From your tabletop, we're going to extend the left leg long behind and turn the toes to face the left side of the room. Bend your left knee, step forward to the top of your mat. Take as many steps as you need to get there. You want to frame the left foot with your hands so you can walk your left foot through center. Just taking a moment to set up your low lunge with as much or as little bend in the back leg as you need. It's a great option to bring your hands up onto blocks. That just helps to create a little bit of space through the low back. You're welcome to stay as you are, or you can bring your hands up onto the left thigh. Squeezing the inner thighs together, the outer hips reach out and back behind you. Lower the hands down onto the blocks or onto the floor. We're going to start to walk them back towards your hips. Come up onto the left heel, choosing the height of block that works best in your body. Reach the right hip towards the right heel, the left hip towards the back of the mat. The left toes are drawn towards your face as you draw your heart towards them. Don't worry so much about touching your forehead to your shin. You want to have a nice flat back here. So really lifting the sits bones away from that left heel. And then send them back. Walk the hands forward to frame your left foot once again. The hands on the blocks or on the floor. And as much length as you can up the front of the right hip. Bring your hands to the inside of the left foot. Heel toe the left foot out. And then slide the left leg back to meet the right. Give your hips a little bit of a sway from side to side. Pause in the center. The right leg this time will extend long. Turn the toes to the right. Bend your right knee, step forward to the top of your mat, taking as many steps as you need to get there. You can extend through the left leg with as much or as little bend as you need. Always the option to fold over your mat underneath of the left knee for some added cushion. You can use a folded towel a knee pillow or jelly. The hands are on the floor, or you can bring them up onto blocks. Just to welcome some more length through your low back. So drawing your left hip forward, the right hip back and down. The right knee pointing the same direction as the right toes. If you notice the right ankle going beyond, or rather the right knee going beyond the right ankle, it could just be a sign that you're able to slide your left leg back a little bit. Option here to bring the hands up onto the right thigh, pausing for a few breaths at your height. Stay active through the legs, the thighs, the glutes. And bring your hands back down towards the mat or onto your blocks. We're going to walk them back to frame your hips. Just easing out of the stretch in the front of the left thigh for a few breaths. Come up onto the right heel. Tracking through the center, folding forward with a flat spine. So it's almost as if you're edging towards coming into a cow-like back here. You don't want to exaggerate it. You don't want an actual cow-like back, but you really want to think about lengthening through the tailbone and lifting it up slightly. Making sure that the left hip is coming towards the left heel, not the right hip. A lot of times the right hip shifts over to the left and finds its way down to that heel. We want to run our body through the center of the mat. Walk the hands forward, frame your right foot. Pausing for a few breaths in the center. Keep that left hip from sagging down towards the floor. We're not just collapsing into this pose. Bring both hands to the inside of the right foot, heel toe it to the outer edge. Shift your hips back, slide the right leg back to meet the left. Give your hips a little sway from side to side. Pause in the center. Big toes come to touch, knees go wide, send your hips back for child's pose. Lengthening through your back with each breath in. Settling the hips down with each breath out. Walk your hands over to the top left corner of the mat. Keep the hips sinking down towards the heels, especially on the right. Bringing a little bit of a side bend into our child's pose by bringing the hands as far over to the left as you can. Breathing length into the right side of your body. You can stay here just as you are. If you like, you can start to bend through the left elbow. Slide the left palm in towards your face on the floor. As if we're coming into almost that cobra arm once again. Start to press down firmly through the left palm. Lifting the left shoulder slightly, opening your heart to the left. Being mindful of any previous injuries. If you're feeling discomfort, please come out. Pressing gently through the left palm, never being forceful. Slide the left hand to meet the right. Gaze comes to the floor. Walk your hands back through center for child's pose. Landing in your child's pose for a cycle of breath. Then walk your hands over to the right. Keeping the hips in your child pose position with the left hip especially heavy. Staying here in your side bend, with the hips heavy towards your heels. If you'd like to add that little bit of a twist, you're going to bend through the right elbow. Bring the right palm onto the floor in line with your face. Left palm stays pressing into the mat. As you ground down through the right, start to open your heart to the right side of the room. Scooping the low ribs on the left side beneath you. Keep your left hip heavy as you draw the right side of your chest open to the rim on the right. Slide your right hand to meet the left. You lower the gaze to the floor. Walk your hands back through center. Child's pose. Always the option here to support yourself with blocks. Bringing a hip, or a block rather, beneath the hips for support. Also the option to place a block beneath the forehead. Let this child pose become passive. Relaxing the arms, let them settle into the mat. Close your eyes. And allow the breath to choose its own rhythm. Notice where in your body you're still holding on to effort. Surrender to your breath, softening into this pose and welcoming the stillness. You're welcome to finish your practice here in child's pose or return to Shavasana if that is your preference. Whichever variation you choose, please offer yourself a few more minutes of stillness in that position. Allowing the body to really absorb the benefits of its practice and taking a few moments for yourself to experience any new sensations you may be feeling in your body. It is with such gratitude that I join you in practice today and always. Namaste.